Hi everyone, it's Alice Webster, and this is an episode of Alice Webster's Thought Corner. It's a special edition because I had some ideas that I had written down and written out some more, but I don't know. I think I'll do those later. Um, they need to be edited a little more, so I'll do those later. But for right now, as I said on Facebook and Twitter, I was going to read a bit of a story that I'd written on this app called Wattpad. And I guess I'm really just reading it so I can actually hear it being read, because most of the time when I go back and edit these stories or anything that I've written, such as the ideas for my future videos, I read over them and then I find little mistakes, and then it's like I have to go ahead and fix them. And that's what I did. I read over some of them and saw tiny mistakes in just about all of them. There's maybe like one or two that I didn't really need to edit, and there's maybe like a few more that I haven't finished writing out yet. So let's see. I'm on the Wattpad app on my tablet. Somebody added one of my stories to their reading list, so that's nice. Let me see. I think I have to look it up because I don't want to go ahead and read it from where I'm editing it, because that, let's see. I know how to find it. I know. And found it. So the title of the story is Unordinary Girl. And I wrote this story. It's a story based off, basically it's a werewolf story. The story starts off a little dark, I guess you can say, because basically this girl, the main character, she was going through a rough patch. Her mom acted like she didn't really care about her, and that she was nothing but a piece of garbage, and that the only reason why she kept her was just so you'll hear about that later on if I finish reading the story. What else? It's a werewolf story. It starts off a little sad, gets a little violent, I guess you can say. Oh, warning, I do stare off into space sometimes when I'm thinking. It's like I have a thought in my head and I just stare off into space because I can like visualize the thought. Try to make sure my glasses aren't glaring too much. Okay. Chapter 1. Staring out the window into the intense rain we were having wasn't anything new for me. I was ignoring our teacher, Miss Hampton, drone on about things that happened in the book the class had just finished reading, of Mice and Men. To me, it was an okay book until George killed Lenny. It wasn't all Lenny's fault that he accidentally killed Curly's wife. She was just being a whore. All Lenny wanted to do was play with the puppy and tend to some rabbits. But still, if he had just ran away from her when she showed up like he was supposed to, he probably wouldn't have had to die. The bell rang, signaling the end of another terrible school day. Should I change that to day of school? I had no friends at age 15. I never had any to begin with. As far as I knew, I never really have done anything spectacular to get noticed. Plus, my mom never bothered getting me any cool clothes like the other kids. In fact, she has never really cared about me. She works all day, then goes out at night on the weekends, and since it's Friday, I won't see her again until Monday. I started heading to my after-school job at this corner store a block from the apartment. I had started working there when I turned 13. Mom had started to buy groceries less, and it was starting to become a problem. So I talked to the neighbor couple who had always taken good care of me when Mom went away, if they knew where I could find a part-time job. I still haven't told Mom about the job. I told her that the extra food comes from an anonymous donor, that I usually find it at our doorstep. She thought it was true, seeing as though it was always in the house before she got home. Plus, I told her that the reason that I was always out late was that I stayed at the library to study and do my homework. She believed it. It isn't like she cares where I go. The only reason why I didn't tell her about my job is because she would take my money. She did it before. Hi, Mr. Robert. I'm here. Mr. Robert is this old guy that runs the corner store. He has known me forever, so he doesn't let my mom see me when she comes in for her bi-weekly booze run. He's kind of like a grandpa to me. Hi, Sweet Pea. How was school today? I shrugged my shoulders at him as I donned my apron and my name tag. Pretty much the same as usual. Nothing new except that I have a new book to dislike. He chuckled at me and asked, "What book is it now?" Of Mice and Men. I don't like how Lenny got shot at in the end by George. Plus, Curly's wife was a harlot. He chuckled at me again and we got back to business. During closing, he asked me about my birthday. Your birthday is coming up soon, right? Yeah, it's next Friday, first night of the full moon. It was March, so I wasn't too concerned with the fact that my birthday was on the night of a full moon. I wasn't that special. Okay, you can have that day off. You never take a day off until I force you to. Do something fun. Find someone to hang out with. You'll be turning 16. Promise me you will do something fun. Okay, I will try to do something fun. Maybe I'll spend the night in the forest or something. I chuckled, but he looked serious. Just kidding. See you on Monday, Mr. Robert. Good night, Miss Caitlin Moore. I snorted at how, when he would say goodbye, he would always say my first and last name. At first I found it weird, but it soon became a routine. I walked that last block home and saw the lights in the apartment window wasn't on. It wasn't a fancy apartment, but it kept us dry. I trudged up the stairs, dreading coming inside. I knew that the apartment would be empty, but I still hoped that sometimes she would be there and would care. When I got onto our floor, I saw some empty moving boxes outside the apartment to the left of ours. Someone must have finally moved in. I briefly wondered who it could be, but soon lost interest. I had things to do. Every Friday since I could remember, I would eat a Hot Pocket and start cleaning the house. I would start by grabbing all of the dirty laundry and bringing it down to the laundry room downstairs. And that was exactly what I did. It was a hassle since I didn't know what of Mom's was dirty. She always mixed everything. I got it all done though. It took me 2 hours to do all the laundry, unfortunately. When she would ask me how the clothes got cleaned, I would tell her that the Wongs cleaned them for us. She believed that now because of all the times that they did it when I was younger. And they always did it on a Friday night. After that, I cleaned her room. Mine can wait until tomorrow since it wasn't that bad. I never let my room get messy. If I did, she would go in it. And if she went in it, she would find my secret stash of money. Since I couldn't open a bank account without her knowing, I would cash my checks and store the money inside of an old shoebox that has been under my bed for years. It came from my first pair of Skechers that I got in 6th grade. I don't have those shoes anymore since a hole was chewed into the toe of the left shoe by a rat. I eventually caught the rat and threw it into the dumpster. After I finished cleaning Mom's room and putting away her clean clothes, I showered and dressed for bed. I still had more housework to do in the morning. I set my alarm clock and drifted off to sleep. Chapter 2. I always hated waking up to an empty house, but I soon learned to get over it. Today I was going to have my traditional dinner with the Wongs and their dog Lulu. Since Mom wasn't around, they always had me over for dinner. And then when I got older, I started only coming over on Saturdays. I like to get the housework done myself. Since dinner was at 7 p.m., I woke up at 6 a.m. to make sure that I had enough time to finish the rest of the chores. I just needed to clean the kitchen and bathroom as well as straighten up my room a little, go grocery shopping, straighten up the living room, and vacuum all the floors. Cleaning the bathroom was easy with all of the dirty, well, my dirty laundry out of the way. I wish Mom would use the stupid laundry hamper. After the floor in the bathroom was mopped, I pulled out my old radio and turned on some classical music. I worked well with it playing. Now I had to take inventory of what we still had in the kitchen and make a shopping list based on what we did have. That's the reason that I need the music. I got the radio for $10 at a garage sale. Told Mom I found it in the dumpster out back. It looks old and beat up enough. After the list was made, I cleaned the kitchen even harder than I did the bathroom. Sometimes if Mom was really drunk enough, she would confuse the kitchen sink for the toilet and piss in it. Luckily, that was the worst she had ever done in the kitchen sink. I still have hope that she would come out of her funk over my dad one day. She at least gives me a card on my birthday. That is what fuels my hope. I went to grab the bleach that I kept in the kitchen but couldn't find it. I had 4 separate bottles of bleach. One in the hall closet for laundry purposes, one in the bathroom for cleaning the bathroom, one in the kitchen for cleaning the kitchen, and one in my room for backup. I had checked last night to make sure there was enough for me to clean with this morning, but it seems to be missing now. I went to Mom's room thinking that she might have stopped by last night and probably grabbed it and brought it into her room. Wouldn't have been the first time. I looked throughout her room and couldn't find it. I just shrugged it off for now and grabbed my backup bottle. I guess I need to add bleach to my list. Guess that also means I will need to ask Mrs. Wong to drive me. I don't trust taxis. The drivers are shifty around here. It took me longer than I expected it to take me to clean out the fridge and mop the kitchen floor. It was already 2 in the afternoon. I quickly grabbed my purse and keys and ran down the hall to ask Mrs. Wong to drive me to the grocery store. Luckily, it was only 2:09 and Mrs. Wong starts cooking at 4. I knocked on and Mrs. Wong answered. That must mean Mr. Wong is still at work. Hi, Mrs. Wong. Can you drive me to the grocery store? We need more than I thought we would need this time around. She smiled at me since both her and Mr. Wong grew up in the United States, they spoke proper English. Of course, Caitlin dear. Anything you need. Just let me call Bingwin and let him know. I bowed and responded, of course, Mrs. Wong. P.S. I looked up these names because I thought they would be perfect. I forgot the meanings behind them, but they had meanings that I liked as far as Mr. and Mrs. Wong's name goes, but I don't remember the proper pronunciation of their names. So anybody who does know the proper pronunciation, don't light me up for this. I'm going to finish reading chapter 2 and that'll be the end of the video. Don't want to give too much away on the first video. Her name, of course, Mrs. Wong. Her name was Chingwen Guang. Like I said, don't light me up on this. She had given me permission to call her by her first name, but Mom had scolded me on it, saying that it was being disrespectful. So I haven't called her by her first name since I was 7. She soon came back out and we promptly left. We both were on a very tight schedule. Getting the groceries wasn't the hard part. At most, I would just get weird glances from the cashiers when I would give them hundreds in bills instead of using a card, but I ignored them. As Mrs. Wong and I loaded the groceries into her trunk, she asked me some questions. Why don't you have a card, sweetie? It would be much easier. You make yourself a target to get robbed. If I got a bank card, then mom would know about me getting money. And if she knew that I had money, she would take it all. Then we would really have a problem. You and Sarah need to have a talk. Need to clear some air. You have answers you need. She has answers she needs. I just nodded and changed the topic of dinner. Changed to the topic of dinner. Yes, I invited the new neighbor over tonight. Some poor 16-year-old kid. This got my attention. Apparently his parents died and he wasn't doing so hot in the foster care system, so they emancipated him. Wow, really? Yeah, the last foster home he was in, he nearly killed one of the other kids in the forest on his 16th birthday. The forest? That just sounded peculiar all by itself. She helped me get the groceries in the apartment and then quickly left to go start on dinner. Based on her excitement, the new guy must have said yes to dinner. I quickly put the groceries and my new thing of backup bleach away, burned the shopping list in mom's ashtray, and flushed the ashes, and got ready for dinner. I was fixing my hair when I heard a knock at the door. Come in, Mrs. Wong. I left the door unlocked because I knew she would come to make sure I was dressed properly. Since I knew everyone in the building and they knew me and my mother, I tended to leave the door unlocked by accident most of the time since everyone in this building kept to themselves and didn't meddle in someone else's business. Well, except the Wrongs with me. They always want to know what's going on with me. Are you sure that it's wise for a young wolf such as yourself to leave your door open like that? A deep voice responded. I poked my head out of the bathroom and saw a tan guy with deep gray eyes and short black hair in my hallway. Who are you? My name is Jackson Stewart, the new tenant. Miss Wong sent me to see if you were almost ready. I finished putting my hair in its ponytail. Yeah, I am now. What did you mean by young wolf? Who's a wolf? I thought that this guy must be crazy. How sad. Super hot, but a freaking loony bin. Wait, did I just think he was hot? I just thought, well, you smell like... Never mind. Let's just go. He suddenly had an attitude. She said that she was making your favor, but she never said why. I walked out of my apartment and I locked the door this time. Do you know why? I just shrugged. I guess it's because my 16th birthday is next week on Friday. I think they'll be out of town though. So there'll probably be cake and 2 gifts for me. I acted like it was no big deal. I took a moment to look at him from the corner of my eyes and saw that he looked a bit worried. I noticed that he had went rigid at the mention of me turning 16 soon. Huh, on the first night of the full moon. That's funny. I turned 16 last month on the first night of the full moon. That was also the same night that he almost killed that kid. Weird. I guess strange things do happen on the night of a full moon. That's it. So, tell me what you think in the comments down below. If you're excited to actually see me get into the content that I'm actually going to be doing, which is basically me choosing a topic that I want to basically tell my thoughts on, and it'll be me expressing myself about it. I might sound a little, I don't know, let me see, what's the proper word? I don't know. I just might sound either crazy or I sound like I hate this or whatever the topic may be, but really it's just my opinions on it, how I feel about it, and nobody should in any shape, way, or anything of that matter should take that into any type of offense. It's basically my thoughts. If my thoughts do not coincide with your thoughts, or we can just agree to disagree and move on with life. No negative comments at all. If you don't like it, then just don't watch. Plain and simple. But that's it. We made it through our first video. Okay. Bye. This is Alice. And this has been Alice Webster's Thought Corner. Reading edition.